hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money, money, money. All you got is like real wealthy. I know you like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 that God gives us the ability to create wealth. Yo, it's the love of money that's money so much, right? Get up and go to work, try to do about all the things that you think I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and a blessing to come to you guys each and every morning to bring you my thoughts on entrepreneurship, wealth, prosperity, peace, love, blessings. Hopefully I'm encouraging, uplifting, motivating, because that is the aim. And as I tell you all the time, guys, you are listening to me lecture myself. You guys just get to witness. So I don't ever want to come off as I'm talking down or talking at anybody. This is for me. This is my therapy. When I do these shows, I'm usually talking to myself about what I need to do to get better. And you guys just get to witness. And I thank you guys for tuning in each and every morning. I really, really appreciate it. Today, I have something super, super special for you guys. I really believe it's going to bless your spirits. I got a special guest about to pop out. But before we do, let's go ahead and get into this. If you guys are checking us out on YouTube, then do me a huge favor, grab the link, share it on your favorite social media platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you like to share links. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you get notifications, because as I roll out Project 1000, I'm going to be uploading tons of videos throughout this year as we're seeking 1,000 families to help overcome the financial struggles by putting them in a business and a financial education space, by helping them eliminate debt, and by helping them start investment accounts. So that's going to be super cool. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and do the same thing for me on Facebook, guys. If you haven't already followed the stream, then follow the stream, and then go ahead and share the stream on your wall this morning. And then not only can you share the stream on the wall, I don't know if you guys know, but if you hit share, you can actually invite people specifically. And maybe you know some people who are all up in arms about President Trump, and they're in this state of anxiety and all of this kind of stuff, man. So maybe if you sure invite them particularly, they can come check us out and maybe get some insight from our guests as to why that's not a threat. There's nothing to fear. So I don't know what this fear mongering is all about. Just so you know, I want you to be keenly aware that we can make it through. We made it through Bush and his son. And so come on, Trump, piece of cake, guys. So just so you know, if you haven't, if you're new to the show, I'd like to let you know exactly who the show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only. If you're ready to get up and get out and get something this morning, then this show is for you. If you are the type of person who says, you know what, I want to build a family empire starting with where I am, this is your show. If you understand the word sacrifice and you say, you know what, if I can just make some tough decisions now, nobody in my family and future generations will ever have to struggle, then this is your show. Because I don't know about you, the cycle of poverty is ending with me. So if that's you, this is your show. Now, on the other hand, who is the show not for? Show is not for the bump on the law. The show is not for the welfare recipient. The show is not for those who are looking for a hand out instead of a hand up. If you are the type of person who's got that weird relationship with money, you think capitalism is evil, you think money is a dirty word, you think wealthy people are snobs, this ain't your show, man. Because one thing I know for certain, Your subconscious mind will never allow you to attract something to you that you think is evil. If you think money is evil, you will never be able to attract it to you. If you think wealthy people are snobs, you will never become one, because why would your subconscious mind allow you to become something you despise? Just don't work that way. So if that's you, this is not your show. You can exit stage left. And like I tell you each and every morning, if you never seen a future billionaire before, then I want you to take a screenshot. Cheese. Because you're looking at one right now, and watch me work over the next 5 to 10 years. Now, I know some of you are saying, you can't become a billionaire in 5 to 10 years. Well, ask Mark Zuckerberg. Ask the founders of Google. Doesn't take long when you have the right mindset. And that's what this show is all about. So if this show ain't for you, it's cool. You can exit, and we will let you out of here, and we won't ask you why. Today's show is brought to you by the BlackRealEstateSchool.com. Guys, if you understand that when it comes to real estate, so one resource that we're not getting any more of, right? So if you don't understand the need to own as much of it as possible, then I want you to check out the BlackRealEstateSchool.com to learn more. It's actually a website we'll get a little bit more into with our special guest for today. So without further ado, I first ran across this young man as I was searching the web to try to see if there were Black-owned business directories out there where I can start to recycle my Black dollar. And I ran across a website called Buy Black NYC. And then I found out its founder, and I've been following this guy ever since, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago. So it gives me a great amount of pleasure. I'm honored that he's able to give us a little bit of his time this morning. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and present to others my main man, Mr. Andre Hatchett. Brother Dre, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm feeling great, leader. How you feeling out here, man?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for giving us a little bit of your time, man. I know you've got some great insight. I've been following you, not just with Buy Black NYC, but some of the projects that you were doing, you know, some of the networks that you're involved in, and the things, and really your heart and your passion for our community, man, really blows me away. And I'm trying to be more like you in the sense of getting on the ground, and these grassroots movements is where guys like us need to be. So I readily admit that I need to do more in that vein. So I'm glad that I can follow somebody like you and see what you're doing and kind of mimic some of that stuff here in the St. Louis area. So as we get started this morning, man, tell us a little bit about you, man. Where did that come from, that passion and that heart for the community, and how do you see yourself playing an integral role in helping us to overcome some of the challenges that are keeping us struggling as a Black community?
Great stuff, great stuff. And thanks for having me, man. It's an honor to be here. And having somebody who you try to watch as often as possible, have you on their platform, it's a huge compliment, Brother Cortez. So good
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you, man.
So where did it come from? I guess earlier you called me unapologetic, which is a great compliment. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
That's an extreme compliment, right? That's huge to me.
Yeah.
So my father, my lovely father, he's unapologetic. So I guess that's where I got it from. So as a preteen, I saw the movie Malcolm X in the theater. I saw the movie Panther in the theater. So I was raised to know what Mandela was released from prison in South Africa, where we would stay home and we watched it on TV. I didn't even know what it was, but years later, I was like, wow, that was a huge moment. I didn't know what it was. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't know what it was. So I was shown, okay, this is what it is. This is what you're dealing with. This is who you're dealing with. This is who doesn't like you. And this is what your people have done. So I would have to give my father the credit, and I'm honestly my father the credit for my unapologetic, hardcore pro-Blackness. And I'm naturally a person who, if something bothers me, I'm gonna get involved in it. I'm not just gonna yell, do this, because who the hell am I yelling at? I'm healthy. Well, now I'm 34, 35 in April. So it always kind of bothered me when people would say, you know, Reverend Al should do this. he should do this. He should do this. I'm like, yo, what about you? What do they have over you?
Right.
You're just more popular. So I hold myself accountable. So if I don't like something, I'm going to get involved in the issue on some kind of level. So I'm naturally a proactive, tackle the issue, be involved in the progress kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was able to do of recent years was able to mesh my unapologetic pro-blackness along with my equally as hardcore business entrepreneurial side. And here we have it. Here I am today.
Gotcha. And that's powerful stuff, man. I heard you say accountability, man. I heard you say the influence of a father saying, you know what, I know you would rather be outside playing baseball, basketball, running with your friends, or maybe even watching cartoons. I'm going to sit you down and let you in on some history right now when Mandela was being released and how significant that is. Even though it sounds like your father is a smart man, he probably know that you didn't understand what was going at the time, but he knew that you would come to appreciate that moment. And as fathers and husbands and men in our community, we've got to do more of that. Sometimes we just got to take these little boys, pull their britches up, and then say, sit down and get some history in you. What do you think about that?
I think it's huge, and we have to do that with people who aren't our sons as well.
Mm-hmm.
And our ladies in our communities have to allow us to do that as well. So I'm not a father yet biologically, but I'm, dare I say humbly, a father figure to many of our brothers out here. So what we have to do, Cortez, is allow ourselves to disappoint other people.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be like, you're gonna be pissed off at me, you're gonna be upset with me. It's okay, because down the line, if this thing hits you, then for me it's a win, and for you it's a win. So we have to be okay with disappointing our younger and older brothers out here, and respectfully challenging them. And like, yo, I don't know it all, but I know this. I know this thing. So follow me on this thing. If you're mad at me, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Let's get it done.
Exactly. It's a bigger picture, greater impact, and it's, you'll get over it. It's like, when you're making decisions for your children, you consider their feelings, but at the same time, you don't consider their feelings, because I know what's best. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. So let's dive into this new president, Donald J. Trump, and I will call him president. He's earned the title. I mean, the funny thing to me is people are mad at him for becoming president as if he wasn't chosen. It ain't like this wasn't a coup. He didn't just take over the White House. He was chosen. So why are you mad at him, the person, when there are people that put him in this place? So tell me, first of all, your opinion on why you think Black people are so freaking afraid of a Donald Trump presidency, and then why we shouldn't be, right?
I'll start off with the latter, why we shouldn't be, because now we have a slight, at times, overt racism, where we had the Clintons, who were sneaky racists, set brothers and sisters to effing jail for 15 to 20 years when they should have gotten probation, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 to 3, maybe let's even say 3 to 5. Sent to prison for freaking 20 years. But he smokes weed. Oh, first Black president. He's getting blowjobs in the damn office. And he's playing the saxophone on Arsenio Hall. So, oh, that's our friend. Yeah. We have, I'm generalizing here, but we have an acceptance issue in our community, Brother Cortez, and we are dying for this acceptance from white society, like dying like a high school or a 20-something-year-old good queen who's chasing the bad boy for attention when she has like 10 other solid brothers and we're trying to get at her. Like, that's what a lot of us have. And once we tackle our acceptance issue, a lot of this will go away. But so why are we afraid of Trump? I think it has a lot to do with economics. I honestly think a lot to do with economics, because I was here thinking, And I don't think a lot of us are feeling the actual physical attacks because we've seen brothers and sisters get their heads blown off on TV, on Facebook Live by cops. So that was under a black president. We didn't say anything about it. Anything. So, did you see this mess that he let slide? And oh no, he's like Jesus out here. I mean, dude, like you can respect somebody and their wife and what they've done, and please and still check them. Man, check me. Like I do a whole lot of positive stuff, but like if I start bugging out, Coach, he said, I want you to call me. You're bugging out. That's not really becoming.
Right.
Don't call me out.
Right.
So I honestly think it has a lot to do with economics and loss of jobs and loss of wages and work discrimination with everything else. And when you have your own economy and when you have the confidence that you can build your own economy, even if it's not there yet, when you believe that, you know what, it will take 4 to 5 years, but I know I can do this, racism bothers me a whole lot less, Brother Cortez.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's the key is what economics is. Our limited financial IQ would cause someone to be scared or in a panic. But what I understand is no matter who the president is, capitalism is still king. So they're afraid like he's gonna wipe out No, he is the biggest capitalist probably on the planet. So if you understand financial literacy, then you know that, okay, we have a capitalistic democracy, and the word capitalism comes first because that's more important than the freedom of democracy. So you have to understand that with capitalism, he's going to do everything in his power to make capitalism grow. But if you don't understand capitalism, if you think working a job is going to get you where you want to be, then yeah, you should be nervous because what he's going to do is put policies in place. Someone put up a beautiful meme not too long ago that said everybody that he put in his cabinet are business owners and entrepreneurs. So what do you think the policy is about to be about for the next 4 years? Furthering business ownership, entrepreneurship, and making a way for big corporations to continue to dominate the globe. So I mean, I don't see a reason to be scared about that at all. But let's get into a little bit about your website, Buy Black NYC. You know, a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I had the idea I was going to start a Black business directory here locally because I was like, man, every time I want to spend some money, it shouldn't be I have to do all these searches and drive all over town. I should be able to just, you know, look something up really quickly and find out where the nearest Black-owned whatever is and get it done. So I created a directory called Bobo Directory, which is Black-owned, Black-operated. And as I was doing research, I was like, are there any other directories out here that already exist? And that's where I stumbled across Buy Black NYC. And I love the way that you laid it out and set it up. And I started modeling my directory off of yours. So let's talk a little bit about, I don't think we as Black people understand what buying Black could really do for us, because if we did, we wouldn't make the excuse like, I'm not driving way down there to spend my money, right?
Great question. Yeah, it was about 4 years ago, me and the great Michael Bell formulated and put this thing together. So we were just tired. Own or be owned. Okay, own or be owned. That's what's up, Queen. Yes. So he made a Facebook post. There's a Facebook post, and he was like, do you know of any Black business directories? It was just open Facebook post. And I was like, not open, but we should build one. And so we just built it. And that's actually another point that I want to get into. Most people don't know how they're going to finish, but they believe that they can finish. So I never built the site. He never built the site. So we literally, I was in school at the time, getting my bachelor's, which I had to finish up a few more credits. So we would just go to class and stay at the library until like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. and just pound out this website, or we go to a coffee shop and just pound out the website. So we were just tired of the excuses. I don't know where to go. the customer service thing, which is bugs me the F out, Cortez, because brothers and sisters go to Chinese restaurants with bulletproof glass and they're flinging duck sauce at your ass. But that's not bad customers. They don't even say hi a lot of times.
No.
Yeah, we were just tired of the crap. So being proactive, I take pride in being a proactive African, right? So I'm a proactive dude. Like, that's my mantra. I always want to be somebody who just in the game if I see the issue. So we sat there, we built it, and at the time it wasn't as trendy to be pro-black. At the time it wasn't trendy to be pro-financially black in public. So I got a lot of pushback from our own people. I got a lot of pushback from my friends. I was like, damn, that's really mean. But now 4 years later, it's about 4 years later, it's become more trendy. It's become saying buy black is okay. It's become more socially acceptable. And dare I say that we were one of the people or two of the people who kind of pushed that mantra forward and allowed it to be more socially acceptable. So now, it's huge because we're giving our people, for me, like, it just feels really good. It just feels really good to give a black person money. What am I wearing? Oh, I don't think I'm wearing right now, but I had on an outfit yesterday, and the whole sweatsuit was bought at a black-owned business, rbgts.com. My man Harry owns it, rbgts.com. I was like, it just literally feels really good for me. So internally, for me, it's just different than a lot of other people, unfortunately. Then the second thing is you're able to, I think our biggest issue in this country on a whole is working for racist people, opposed to being fearful of getting killed by police, which can happen. It can happen to any one of us. Fear of being wrongfully convicted for a crime, which can happen for any of us. But the fear of going to apply for a job, sitting across from a white person who might be racist, is really an issue.
Right.
It is really
right.
Not being able to speak up at the job you have because you're fearful of not being able to get another job, and your family, your kids, and all this stuff. That's real fear. That's like hardcore 50-50 chance, maybe even 60-40.
Right.
So if I'm able to help that brother or sister, and again, I'm not on this everybody movement. I'm not on this everyone needs to do a movement. I'm on the can I help just push this forward? Can I help push our people forward in a small way? And if I'm able to have a brother or sister stay off of the plantation, or get off of the plantation, for me, that's a win right there. All I need to do is one or two, a week, a month, a year. Hey, man, I've done my part. I feel good about that.
Right, exactly. And statistics show that even if we bumped it up from the 2% that we spend with Black-owned business now up to just 10%, don't even give them all your money. But if we went from 2% to 10%, that can create millions of jobs, millions of jobs in our community. And I think the other thing that becomes, other thing that becomes more significant is we have to look at, like Dr. Claude Anderson talks about, owning the entire chain. But we can't own the chain if we don't spend enough in retail. But if we bump that 2% to 10% from a retail standpoint, and then we can leverage our buying power even amongst those Black enterprises and say, you know what, I like to come eat at your restaurant, homeboy. You got some fire food, but you know what would be really cool? If you found a Black-owned manufacturer of that ketchup and move that Hunt and that Heinz out of the way. Then we can start getting into manufacturing and producing more. So I don't have a problem with the retail end, but at some point we got to go from retailer to wholesaler to buyer to manufacturer to producer. And then when we start owning land, we sometimes act like we don't know that everything comes from the land. So if we realize that, then we buy the land and we can produce everything off that land. So to my next step is you are heavy with the Black real estate school. So talk a little bit about what that is and why you felt the need to bring it in a school setting to help educate us on the power of owning real estate. Like I said before, guys, it's finite. We're not getting any more land. We're not getting any more real estate. So you might as well try to own your little piece of this, man. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. So I'm just a fanatic about real estate. I bought my first property when I was 22. up in New York. So I've just been a person who just has always, first of all, I'm a long-term thinker naturally.
Okay.
That's just my natural mode is to think long-term and to think about the big picture for most situations. So once I did the research, I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad books, I studied people who acquired real estate, and I found out about equity. I was like, oh, okay, like this is really cool. So ever since then, I've just been on it. I've been on it in some kind of capacity. When I realized that I know a lot of stuff and I have a pretty good network of people, I said, I can teach this thing, because I was teaching it anyway. And they say that oftentimes we're doing a hobby that can easily become a business. If it's structured right, I was like, okay, like I can teach this. And I had great success for my notary school, which is a phenomenal business that I've had as a mobile notary or have as a mobile notary for, 12, 13 years. And I had over 1,000 students in a year. I was like, 1,000 students in a year, that's pretty good. And we had great success. So I was like, okay, what else can I teach? What else do I got? And I students asking me, yo, Andre, I like your style. I like how you just shoot it straight from the hip, how I'm not overly complicated in wording, because I don't know a lot of big words, so I don't use a lot of big words. and how it's a practical and tangible setup. I was like, okay, let me repeat the same cycle. Again, your other stream of income that we're trying to work on, or you might be trying to work on, it might be like a 1A or a 1B. It might not even be like a total shift. So I said, okay, I did that. Let me do this. And we built it. And on a personal level, it's something that I could work from wherever I am in the world, which is always one of my goals. And on a community level, we need to own property. I think us as men especially, we need to do stuff that just feels good for the soul. Our soul is trying to be ripped out of us at all costs, all over the place. So we need to have things that honestly just feel good. Right. And so that's one of the reasons. And one of the second reasons was equity, tax write-offs, credit, generational wealth, having tenants pay for where you live. I know people who live in a 3-unit home or 4-unit home, and they get paid to live in their home. All they needed was a 640 above FICO score and 3% for the down payment or so. And part of that might even came from a grant, and they're getting paid to live in their house. They are never going to be homeless. They never have to fear being homeless in life, because they nailed one thing. Let's not even talk about 3 or 4 properties, Cortez. Just one. They nailed one. And I realized that even on a 101 level, like I can bring value to my people. It could be a source of passive income or semi-passive income, and I could do it from wherever I am in the world. So I was able to just combine my personal goals along with my mission to help our people advance. And we've done a pretty good job. We have a pretty high success rate based upon our students' responses. Gotcha. Good deal. And let's talk a little bit about that, because I think a lot of us who are in the capacity to help with what we know, who we know, and the networks, I think there is a twist on whether or not you can actually serve the community and make money at the same time. Some people have that twisted, and I don't understand that. I can serve my community, Black power, the struggle, liberation, and all of that stuff is fine. I can be involved in that, and still make a profit by bringing products and services to that community that can help them advance their cause. I think sometimes we feel that if we are going to be down for the cause, that means we have to be down to donate and service the cause for free, right? Yeah, I have not taken a vow of poverty ever. I have no taking a vow of poverty. Yeah, so no, the real truth with that is that if you're pro-Black in public, you have accepted taking a vow of poverty. And I've never understood it. I don't know if it comes from the church, which always bugged me out because the pastor's a big baller oftentimes with big cars and big homes. So I just have never signed up for it. So I'm not sure where it comes from, but I have no part. I have no part of this. battle poverty because I'm pro-black. Now, something they do for free. We have, I have tons of organizations. Black Men United, where we bring black men together from all across the world, which I form with my man, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Black Men Doing It, where we promote positive images of black men. So I personally have good balance. I really believe that I have good balance. But yeah, man, you can do both. There's 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
There's 24 hours in the day to do some hardcore financial stuff and some hardcore business stuff. And I have some businesses where I have a white lady on the cover of my in my commercial on my website. So there's a lot. I have a book that I bought, Cortez. It's called Emotional Intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence. So if you are emotionally intelligent, you get that there are a lot of ways to skin the cat.
Yes.
You can get things done, but when you're hardcore, Trump has to go, this, that, third, and I'm like, man, think strategically. Because for me to be pro-black, I had some people say, yo, Dre, how can you have a white lady on your website? I was like, because people like to do business with white ladies, and this business is geared towards income. Right. Now, if I don't make the income, then I can't take a lovely black queen out on a date. I can't get married, I can't have kids. I can't go to a black woman. So I'm like, yo, get out of here with that stuff, man. Be emotionally intelligent, especially in the Trump era.
Exactly, and that's what you have to get is that, you know, there's always been two things needed to advance any cause. There's always been, and there will always be, two things needed to advance any cause: time and money. So if you don't have the money, then maybe you do have the time and you commit your time to the cause. And then if you don't have the time, if you don't have the time, you have the money. All right, you're back. So if you don't have the time, you have the money. So maybe I work too much, I run too many businesses, but I can write the check with more than 3 or 4 zeros. So that's how we can make this thing work. So I just like the idea that I keep telling people my mission, the way that I'm going to help advance our cause, I'm going to be the financier of our war struggles, right? Because our wars are finance. Somebody has to put themselves in position to write a check with more than 2 or 3 zeros. If we're going to win this war on poverty, if we're going to win this war against the school to prison pipeline, if we're going to win this war on the drug game and how it's locking up brothers so that our sisters are raising kids alone, if we're going to fight this miseducation machine, somebody's got to be able to write a check. And if we are not getting serious about entrepreneurship, the plantation isn't the place to get enough money to take care of your family and write a check for the cause. So talk a little bit about, because I heard you say, and I share the sentiment that everybody's got some hobbies or some passions that they can turn into profits. So talk about why entrepreneurship is so imperative for us as a community to help overcome some of these social issues. I think if we got involved in entrepreneurship, that could actually help. So give me your thoughts on that.
I heard you say something 2 or 3 weeks ago. You said about the schools in St. Louis that if you have a fight that it could be a felony.
Yes.
And you said that if you had passive income coming in, or if you had a business, I don't know if it's passive income or business or something along those lines, then you could take the time off to go down to the city halls and the schools and to go fight the system. Yeah. But if you're check to check and you're hourly, you can't take that time off. So subconsciously or subliminally, poverty and having lack of disposable income is inhibiting our fight for the cause.
Yes.
So it kind of goes back to financial resources and wealth. And here's the thing also is that if you have a business and you're at a 9 to 5, so if you're at a 9 to 5, oftentimes you think of, okay, how will my boss think of this? What will my coworkers think of this? So it's we minimize ourselves and we look through the eyes of the oppressor, because if they disagree with anything that we're doing, we could be fired. So what we need entrepreneurship, so we have a free voice.
Right.
So we have our free voice to get out here and talk how we talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need entrepreneurship. You need it to one, have the time, or to have the ability to have the time, even if not now, down the road, to get out here and fight the social issues.
Mm-hmm.
2, write the check. And 3, so you don't have to worry about, oh my God, if my boss sees this, I'm fired.
Right.
My coworkers see this, they're gonna not have lunch with me at work.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, it has to be part of the equation on so many levels, whether it's the in the streets level, whether it's the strategic boardroom level, or
mm-hmm.
whether it's the write the check level. It allows us to be able to fight the good fight better.
Right.
If we have our own economy in place.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with it. And then I also like, you know, when you said that, you know, everybody has a hobby, that resonates with me, because I teach people all the time is your passions. Nobody, you can't put a finger on when I became passionate about a thing. And I don't think that you can, because I think that passion came from the creator. And I think the reason you have a passion is because if you stay involved with that passion long enough, it's going to lead you to your purpose. But the reason we walk away from our passions is because we got to chase a dollar. We haven't quite figured out how to generate income from our passions. Because if we did, everybody would be closer and closer to finding their true purpose on this planet, because you be getting money. So for me, I'm a natural born coach, mentor. I have the gift of exaltation. I just love to lift people up. I love to inspire, motivate, and encourage. But had I not found a way to get paid doing that, chances are I wouldn't be doing that. And it was in doing that that allowed me to stumble upon my purpose by crossing paths with people like yourself and a lot of people that are a part of my network now, because of my ability to find out how to earn an income from my passion, which ultimately led to my purpose. So I think that's where, in this day and age of the internet and all of these social media platforms, anybody can go buy a website for 99 cents, start a business, get it registered. It don't cost you nothing for a tax ID number and all that kind of stuff. So just talk a little bit about your mindset, because I think you alluded to it, and you kind of like me in that sense, that your mindset is you saw a need and didn't wait for somebody else to fill it, because that's what capitalism is all about. You capitalize on what you know. And you said you saw a need, so there was no website like Buy Black NYC, so you created one. So what is the mindset like of someone like yourself who is an entrepreneur, and how did you develop that, or cultivate that, or continue to feed and nurture that mindset?
Great point. So the mindset is one, or my mindset is one of a doer. Mindset is one of a doer and someone who is proactive and who minimize and reactive. Bingo right there. Proactive more than I'm reactive. And when you're proactive, you don't wait for someone to push you or hit a button. You just say, okay, get out here and do it. You are self-motivated. You are motivated by an external thing that connects with your internal thing, and that allows you to do something tangible.
Right.
So once you have that frame of mind, it can literally drive you crazy. It can literally drive your ass crazy if you're not acting on it. So for the sake of your own pride, to act on it, or else internally you're going to be bothered, and it's going to disrupt you, and it's going to shrink your self-esteem and your confidence. So that's where it comes from. It comes from just acting on it, to be honest with you. Acting on it, seeing the needs, filling the void, and acting on it. And as far as passion, passion's a tricky word sometimes. So oftentimes a lot of us have something, a hobby, whatever that we're doing. I don't see people who are great chefs who are phenomenal friggin' chefs, but they won't do their own catering thing on the weekends or after work. They'd rather work a second, third job when they could be home with their family cooking what they're doing anyway, and charging people for it.
Right.
So a lot of us suffer from a self-belief, a lack of self-belief, one, and a lot of us suffer from an inferiority complex.
Mm-hmm.
And the inferiority complex allows us to be stagnant in our own shoes and to act afterwards or later than sooner. And it just allows us to be like this rather than be like, okay, I gotta get it. So once we get back self, hardcore belief in self, and network, who the hell do you hang out with? Come on, man. All the books say it. You're an average of your 5 closest friends. So if I can hang out with you, hell yeah, I'm gonna hang out with you. You talk about your son all the time, your family, and being a billionaire, and black people.
Yeah.
You talk about black people here, your family, all wins for me. All wins. Everything you talk about is a win.
Awesome.
I want to have kids. Okay, I can learn from you. I want to get married. I can learn from you. I want to be a billionaire. I can learn from you. So who are you hanging out with?
Yeah. Yeah.
That will change up. It will disrupt your whole life. It will literally disrupt your whole life and alter your path. So you have to seek the people out, hit them up.
Right.
No ego involved. It bugs me out when people are on this alpha bullshit, alpha crap, and they're like, man, I'm my own man, I'm my own woman. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The people who I know who are real alphas, they reach out to people and they want to collaborate, they want to work together because they know that, okay, I have a certain skill set, he has a certain skill set. If we put that skill set together, I can get more traction, I can get more supporters, I can get more dollars. If they're in it for the purpose that they can meet more people, it's just a total win. It's just a total win when you're dealing with like-minded people, man. So if you don't like where you're at, fight like hell to be around people who are on a different level. Buy them food, send them books, pay them for a coaching session, whatever the hell it takes for me to be around better people who are on a higher level than me. I've been doing it and I will continue to do it.
Yeah, and that's powerful because yesterday I wrapped up my series on the 5 pillars of leadership, and I was talking about the mastermind principle from Think and Grow Rich, and how one person brings his intellect and the other person brings their intellect, and then according to Napoleon Hill, there's a third mindset, which is the mastermind, which is the fusion of those 2 minds that are thinking along the same path and that sort of thing. And then even biblically speaking, the Bible talks about if one man can put 1,000 to flight, 2 men could put 10,000 to flight. So you would think that the creator's math is different. So you would think that if one man puts 1,000 to flight, then you add another man that makes 2,000 to flight. No, the creator says if one can do 1,000, 2 together on the same page can do exponentially more. So when we start to collaborate more versus compete with one another, that's where we start taking ourselves to a whole nother level. But really quickly, man, I checked out your stream yesterday and you did the 5 habits of unproductive people, man. Go over those 5 habits for me really, really quickly.
Will do. They might change from yesterday, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So the 5 habits of unproductive people, one of the things that I've noticed, because I interview people for my schools, and I work with earlier my main man, Dr. Boyce Watkins. For people who don't know him, he's one of the top black scholars for the SPED. Philanthropists, all around just dope ass dudes in the freaking country.
Yeah, you gotta help me get him on this show too, man. Because I gotta get with Dr. Boyce, man. That guy is phenomenal, man. Yeah.
Oh man, he's such don't realize he's such a phenomenal human being internally.
Exactly.
And he said he's really funny. So
gotcha.
I'll work on that. So I interview people for the Black Business. There's a course there which I teach. It's called Financial Teeth University. I have to get you on there. And I interview entrepreneurs. I interview entrepreneurs about their life, their journey, what got them there, etc. And when you talk to people who are doers, when you talk to people consistently who are doers, success leaves cruise, and so does failure. And failure not by messing up, because we could have a whole show about the mess ups that I did, chapter 7, all that stuff. Foreclosure. I've been through the gamut.
Right.
Messing up or failing in terms of not trying or not. And people who don't achieve what they want to achieve or hit their personal mark, not my mark for them, not anyone else's mark, their personal mark based upon their expectations of themselves, let's make excuses for themselves. They make excuses for themselves and they pass the buck. And if you have a son, ladies and gentlemen, do not let your son become professional. But he's going to become old. He's going to be in his 20s. No woman's going to want to date him and be his friend. Make sure you hold this little brother accountable. Please, society a favor. But yeah, they're professional buck passers. That's what thing is there for. No accountability. 0 or 90% not accountable. Yada yada yada. The second thing is there's no sense of urgency. Everything can be done next week. For the next year. And with achievers, they do things as soon as they can, or over as soon as they can, or if they're doing it in place to do it. They have someone in place to get it done. As Robert Kiyosaki said, if master your stuff, then pay someone to do what they're great at. So everything is pushed off. Everything is pushed off. And the other thing is, they don't go out of their way to seek mentors. They don't seek virtual mentors in real life. They don't do it because they would rather and not changing, because change is kind of scary, right? To the excitement that comes along with it. But in the early, this is different. This is something new. They don't want it, and also they don't seek. I'm a believer, Cortez, that you are who you date, right? You are who you date. And they don't seek people who hold them accountable and push them to the next level. If you are, I only date a queen who can, I hope I would like to get married in a couple of years. That is the goal. That is the plan. But I'm not there yet. But I date queens who can help push me to another level. I don't need their money. I need emotional support, and for you to. So that's what I need. Right. You could be as fine as you want to be fine. My last queen I was with, I was in a great relationship. So we were actually going to get married, but we didn't. But, it's cool. Show goes on. We held each other accountable. So she has built a business which is now profitable and is now a straight up passive income stream from us dating. And us having our cohabitation. We helped each other grow. That we have now, even the relationship didn't work out, we have something to show for it after it's all said and done. Those are the kind of relationships that I get into. Can we help each other grow as humans? Can we help each other grow as passive income? Can we help each other grow as Africans, Black people? And one of the other traits of people who are unsuccessful by their standards of living, readers. That's something. No doubt that you, Evan Jefferson, my man Eric out of Texas, all talk about books all the time. You know my man Eric, right? Eric.
I don't know Eric, man.
You don't know Eric out of Texas? I'll get Eric's last name, but I'm gonna hook you guys up. He has this thing called he's a big stock and he's a bomb course. I'm gonna hook you guys up.
Cool.
So all you guys talk. All of the books, you name books, you drop lines of books, read this book, all you guys who are battle, who are hardcore, are read a lot. So again, success leaves clues. So if you study people who are hitting their goals, or actually working on the goals, study people who books are to the equation. They don't read.
Gotcha. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, man. So I don't know what to say, man. I love these sorts of conversations, man. And you talk about associations and things of that nature, man. Networks and getting in where you fit in with people who will stretch you, push you, pull you, prod you to the next level. That's extremely, extremely important for me. And that's why I do a lot of more reading now than I used to. But I literally would, podcasts and YouTube lectures and webinars and that kind of stuff. That has been my thing over the last 10 or 15 years. Because I heard a quote not too long ago and didn't realize this is what I was doing. But at some point, you have to empty your wallet to fill your mind so that you can later empty your mind to fill your wallet. And that's what I had done, because I had soaked up all of this knowledge, wasn't really doing anything with it, but I was constantly spending on trainings, going to webinars, seminars, and all that kind of stuff. And I just filled my mind. And then I started in the financial education space, and it's just funny that all of that stuff came pouring out of me. And I get a lot of times, man, you know, just enough about a lot of different stuff to be dangerous, right? But I took the time, and I was like, man, I'm the kind of guy who's interested in a lot of stuff. So when I'm interested, I learn about it. And I always know that, hey, we are in a capitalistic society. And a lot of people see that as a dirty word. Capitalism, in my simple definition, simply says this: those who know capitalize on those who don't know. Now, it's a tool like any other tool. I got a hammer, I can build you a house. I got a hammer, I can crack you across your head with it. It's who's wielding the tool that makes the difference. So when I say capitalism is those who know, those who don't know, people think negatively. But let me show you what I mean. Your dry cleaners know something you don't know about removing stains. So they're able to capitalize on what they know, and you're willing to pay them for that. So is that an evil thing? No, that's not an evil thing. It's capitalizing on what you know, and those who don't know will pay you for it. So that's what capitalism is about. So if you can fill your mind to with things others don't know, and then you can then execute on teaching them, showing them how to do it, doing it for them, then you can actually build a business around those things and create strong residual and passive income. So it looks like we lost Brother Dre. Let's see if he'll pop back on in a second, but we're getting close to the top of the hour. If you haven't already checked out his real estate school, the Black Real Estate School, if you're serious about real estate, then you definitely want to go check that out. If you're in the New York City area and you want to patronize some local Black-owned businesses, Buy Black NYC is powerful. And even if you're not in New York, there's a lot of businesses in that directory that have online shops and stores, and you can patronize them from afar as well. So we are getting closer to the top of the hour, Brother Dre. I want to give you a minute to shout out and promote anything that you got going on special. So go ahead and let them know how they can get a hold of you, and any special promotions or anything that you got going on. Let's make sure that they're clued in there.
Cool, will do. And earlier on, I didn't mention something else that people do who are successful by their own standard, is they accept delayed gratification.
Mm-hmm.
So they allow for a certain time period of their life to kind of suck and not have a bunch of frills, and they just accept, okay, like this is what it is for now. I'll get my rewards later on. So that's right. Part of what other people do. So yes, Andre C. Hatchett here. Again, honored to be here. Great to meet you, lovely audience. I appreciate the time and you hopping on here. My website is andrechatchett.com. andrechatchett.com. You can go there. I have a documentary coming out later this year. It's called Own and Be Owned. If you could pre-own that, I would greatly appreciate it. And also, if you join the mailing list, I would greatly appreciate it. We do have specials. I have a few courses, and I'm offering 30 days free for some of the lessons. Shoot me an email, and I'll shoot you a link with all of the free 30-day courses that I have and the promotions that I have. And my email address is Andre.
Oh, it looks like he froze up. So I'll make sure I get his email address for you guys if you don't get a chance to pop back on. And I'll put that in the comment stream, as well as all of his other websites. We'll link to his promotions and all of that good stuff. You guys know I'm going to throw this episode inside a blog post with all of the links and everything that you can come back and grab all of that stuff later as well. Yeah, I like that, Lady Rachel, that own or be owned. Yeah, Brother Dre has been doing this thing for a while, guys. So if you don't follow him, go over to his page, shoot him a friend request, or if I think he may have maxed out on his friends, so you can actually follow him. And that way, when he jumps on his live streams, he drops a tremendous amount of knowledge all the time. And these are the kind of people that I like to surround myself with. These are the type of people I follow. So he called me his mentor. He's been a mentor of mine for the last 3 or 4 years, watching what he's doing in the community, and you know, all the things that he's doing. I model a lot of stuff I do off of guys like him and Dr. Boris Watkins and those people, because you can literally help save your community and make a few dollars at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that, because you think about all of the people who are killing your community and making a ton of money off killing the community. Well, to rebuild the community costs money. So I'm going to need to be able to extract some money from the community to help cover and offset those costs. And there is nothing wrong with that, man. So I appreciate Brother Dre for jumping on. You know, I just hit him up over the weekend, and we hadn't talked before or anything. We shout each other out in each other's live streams. When I see he pop on mine, I pop on his, and we just kept saying for the last, you know, month or so, bro, we got to do something together. We got to do something together. So I just reached out to him over the weekend and said, hey, man, is next week a good time for you to come on the show? And he's like, sure, man, let's do it. And so I tell you all the time that I have no problem introducing you to those I'm learning from, because you might be able to learn at a quicker pace than me. So I don't want to be the holding you back because I'm trying to learn from him so I can then come and teach you, but I'm keeping you at bay away from him so that you can keep coming through me to get to him. That ain't how this thing works, man. That's not how this thing works. So let's see. All right, YouTube, my Facebookers just lost all connection. I don't know what that was about. So maybe it was me in the Be Live TV. Maybe it wasn't Andre's stream, or maybe it was my stream. But I was just saying that I would never be that guy where I'm trying to keep you at bay and keep you away from those I'm learning from so that you can keep coming through me to get to them. No, I want you to know exactly where the source of the information is so that you can get the same information from the source as well. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. I know you guys do. And sorry about the connections with the internet. But I think you got enough value from Brother Dre to understand that he's a solid guy with our community in mind with everything that he does. I told you guys he's an unapologetically Black guy. There's nothing wrong with being pro-Black. Sometimes we think that being pro-Black means that we are anti anything else, and that's not the case. Because I love me doesn't mean I hate you. And that's and we have to be okay with that. Because I love me does not mean I hate you. But that's the way it's painted in the media all the time, and that's what keeps us at odds. White people love white people. That don't mean that they all hate Black people, right? They are just putting their needs and their agenda ahead of ours. There's nothing wrong for us to do the same thing. I'm going to hire people who look like me to work in my company. So when I go to a white-owned company looking for a job, if I was, then I'm not surprised that they hire people who look like them. If I went into an Asian restaurant looking for a job, I wouldn't be surprised to find a bunch of people that look like them. And if they don't want to give me a job because they're reserving that spot for people who look like them, their family, their nation, there's nothing really wrong with that. It's only wrong to us because we want that acceptance instead of building and doing the same thing for ourselves. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. It is 8 o'clock, so we're going to try to end on time. Keep in mind, today's show is sponsored by theblackrealestateschool.com. So if you go to theblackrealestateschool.com, you can learn all about the real estate strategies that Brother Dre Andre Hatchett teaches, and he can help you get in that real estate game, man, and understand how it all works and how you can literally start owning a piece of this earth, guys. Because ownership is where we're lacking at. Once you begin to own, then you can produce and manufacture, then you can retail all those things that you produce and manufacture. But it starts with ownership. It starts with getting passive and residual income so that you don't have to trade your time for dollars. You can start training your, investing your time to doing things that will bring you the most gratification. So with that, I'm H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. Until I talk to you tomorrow, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.